In the autumn of 1825, when a routine modernization project began in Berlin, the capital of the Prussian Empire, no one could have anticipated that it would turn into one of history's most disturbing discoveries. During ordinary excavations for municipal services and new building foundations, workers laboring just north of Unter den Linden Avenue encountered unexpected resistance with their shovels and discovered a massive void beneath the layers of earth. What was initially thought to be an old quarry or forgotten cellar turned out to be just a small part of an incredibly complex infrastructure network extending beneath the city as the excavations deepened. When Prussian engineers and state officials descended into the area, they were astonished by what they saw, because before them lay an advanced thermal infrastructure network that appeared in no city plan, no historical record, and could not be explained by any construction technique of that era. The tunnels connected to each other at perfect angles. The ceramic coatings on the walls were as smooth as modern factory production, and most intriguingly, there was evidence that this system was still functional. Although official reports tried to record these findings as old beer cellars or forgotten medieval storage facilities, a very different story was being told in the private journals of engineers on site and in secret letters that came to light in the archives. These documents were filled with phrases like a system of unknown origin, unexpected engineering complexity, and measurement precision that cannot be explained by any known technology of the period. In the personal notes of Johann Friedrich Weiss from the Berlin Royal Engineering Academy, it was clearly stated that this system could not be merely a simple heating infrastructure, because tens of kilometers of interconnected channels and heat distribution chambers were arranged in a planned order throughout the entire city. But perhaps the most striking detail concerned the properties of the materials from which these structures were built. The ceramic-coated channels uncovered in the excavations possessed a quality and precision that would have been nearly impossible in the pre-modern industrial production era. 19th century kiln technology was not at a level capable of producing such smooth, homogeneous, and durable ceramic coatings. Each channel piece was cut with millimeter precision, surfaces were polished mirror smooth, and the joints between them were aligned so perfectly that even the best craftsmen of the period had to admire such workmanship. Even more interesting was that when chemical analyses of these ceramic materials were conducted, mineral mixtures unknown in 19th century Europe were detected within them. Some samples contained high amounts of aluminum oxide and silicon carbide-like compounds, which were materials that could only be produced at very high temperatures and under controlled atmospheric conditions. The heat distribution chambers within this system could be described as architectural marvels in their own right. These chambers had geometrically perfect proportions and applied the fundamental principles of acoustic engineering long before these principles were discovered in Europe. The vaulted ceilings were designed to optimize sound waves and heat distribution. Acoustic tests showed that these chambers resonated at specific frequencies and that heat was distributed homogeneously. Mathematical calculations revealed golden ratio-like mathematical relationships between ceiling heights, room diameters, and wall thicknesses. This was not random construction, but a conscious design that was the product of a deep scientific and mathematical understanding. But perhaps the greatest mystery among all these discoveries was the system's heat control mechanisms. Private letters found in the archives and kept secret for many years mentioned the discovery of mechanical devices described as automatic heat regulators in the Berlin excavations. These devices consisted of metallic components and alloy parts and could automatically adjust heat flow in response to temperature changes. These early thermostats, based on thermal expansion principles, were the product of an engineering intelligence far beyond 19th century technology. Some examples contained bimetallic strips and spring mechanisms, technologies that would only become widespread a century later. The most mysterious aspect of the system was the question of what the heat source was. Normally, In such a heating infrastructure, one would expect central furnaces, coal pits, or wood-burning systems. However, no such structure was found in the Berlin system. Instead, there was strong evidence that the heat came directly from underground. Some engineers thought this might be connected to a geothermal source, but Berlin's geological structure did not support such strong geothermal activity. Alternative theories included the possibility of an advanced chemical reaction system or an energy production method different from any known fuel sources. In some sections of the tunnels, hot air flow could still be felt, and the walls were warm to the touch, as if the system was somehow still operating even centuries later. The events that occurred after the discovery perhaps constitute the darkest and most thought-provoking part of the entire story. Berlin's best preserved, most complex, and most functional thermal sections were declared structurally dangerous and posing a risk to public health by the Prussian government just a few weeks after their discovery. Official statements claimed that the tunnels carried a risk of collapse and might contain poisonous gases. However, none of these claims aligned with the engineering reports, because the structures were extremely solid and no dangerous gas emissions had been detected. Nevertheless, military units surrounded the area and civilian access was completely prohibited. Then, through an intensive filling operation, large parts of this magnificent ancient infrastructure were permanently sealed by being filled with earth and rubble. Some entrances were blown up with dynamite, some sections were closed with concrete, and all these operations were carried out with extraordinary haste, almost in an atmosphere of panic. Why was there such haste? Why was such a valuable historical and engineering heritage being destroyed without time being given for its examination and research? Although official statements took refuge in the justification of public safety, secret correspondence in the archives pointed to a much more disturbing motivation. Some documents contain phrases like, "the uncertainty of the system's origin," and "its existence contradicting the Prussian historical narrative." Another letter stated that accepting that Berlin had hosted a civilization capable of building this infrastructure would have unacceptable consequences for the entire German national identity and historiography. Apparently, the real problem was not engineering, but politics. This discovery threatened the known narrative of history, and therefore it needed to be silenced. So was this system really just a heating infrastructure? Or was it part of something much larger? Some researchers have suggested that this network beneath Berlin might actually be part of a massive machine capable of controlling the entire city's atmosphere, air, and even climate. The acoustic properties of the heat distribution chambers, the strategic placement of ventilation channels, and the presence of automatic control systems pointed to this being a much more comprehensive environmental control system rather than simple heating. Perhaps the ancient inhabitants of Berlin possessed a technology capable of regulating their city's internal atmosphere, centuries before modern air conditioning and ventilation systems. Although the source, purpose, and ultimate fate of this technology have been lost in the depths of history, the physical evidence uncovered in the 1825 excavations tells us that we need to re-question what we know about our past. Today, beneath Berlin, this ancient network still lies, filled with earth, sealed with concrete, and abandoned to be forgotten. Some curious individuals who have infiltrated the old tunnels claim they still feel a warm breeze from the walls, that the inscriptions and geometric patterns on the ceramic surfaces carry meaning, and that the system may never have been fully stopped. Although official history prefers to dismiss this event as a footnote, documents, engineer journals, and secret correspondence from the period clearly reveal that a great secret lies beneath Berlin, and that this secret disturbed the 19th century Prussian government so much that they chose to completely hide it. Witnessing the collapse of the historical narrative and Berlin's buried secrets means accepting that our past may be much more complex, mysterious, and technologically advanced than we thought.